security team, including your CISO over there, and some of the IT ops folks as well. David Moore is the sales engineer that works closely with some of those IT folks. And then Colin's part of our broader team and is actually a graduate of Iowa State. So David, Colin, and I, David, Colin mostly will be running the workshop on Saturday. I know we came and spoke to you all, I guess it was back before finals in November, I want to say. Did a quick introduction to Splunk. I know it's been a few months, so just wanted to go over a few slides. I know you guys had some time off for break, so wanted to just refresh everyone on kind of us as an organization. And then David and Colin are just going to walk through just more logistics for Saturday and answer any questions you may have. And again, you know, our ultimate goal is to kind of expose you to some real world experience post-college. David and Colin have had a lot of success in the IT and security space. So, you know, if you have any questions around kind of career pathing or anything like that, please feel free to use this time and then also Saturday to answer those questions as well. All right, so Splunk. So just as a quick high-level introduction again, I'm going to try to do this in just around 3 minutes. Please interrupt me if you have any questions. So Splunk, we are a software company. Specifically, we are a data platform, and really our mission as an organization is to bring data to everything. So mostly organizations use us for IT, security, DevOps, and other different mission analytics. And I'll give a little more specific examples of what that is in a moment. So as a software, how do we actually help our customers? So when I say data, I really mean kind of machine data. So anything with a digital footprint. So any source from any structure, structured and unstructured, and any time scale, we can actually ingest as a platform. So our organizations can do investigations, monitor, analyze that data, and ultimately act and make those different decisions off of that. So what does it actually mean? How do we actually work with customers? Kind of our most popular use cases, if you will, are going to be in the IT and security space. So to give you an example of how we work internally with some other universities is monitoring Wi-Fi data. I'm sure no one on this call has ever complained about Iowa State's Wi-Fi, but we were actually working with another university that actually takes Wi-Fi data into the Splunk system and actually has created a map for their students to see where are those hotspots where Wi-Fi connectivity is a little bit slow, and give students the ability to go other places on campus to get a better Wi-Fi connection. An example in the security space, wanted to highlight this since our workshop is going to be more security focused, is a lot of universities have been using Splunk over the past year to monitor VPN connections. So we can actually monitor that, see where people are trying to connect off of the VPN, and say we can actually dig in, build in an alert to say maybe we had a user log in from the United States and then 2 minutes was in Russia trying to log on. That'll flag an alert in the system for some security manager or analyst to dive deeper and to see what's going on and if someone's trying to attack your network. So pause there. Any questions? Anything I can clarify? And again, kind of this is a tool that you guys are going to get hands-on that your actual university uses this for security investigation and monitoring. So definitely some cool, I think, real world experience that we'll show you. So before I hand it over to kind of David and Colin to walk us through logistics for Saturday, any questions about Splunk, who we are, and how we help customers?
I did have one question. Oh,
go for it, Lynn.
I was just going to ask, do we need to have anything prepared for that workshop on Saturday?
No, this is David. I'll go through that. And actually, Elizabeth, if you can, throw that last slide back up there.
Yep.
Wait for that to come up. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the workshop and a little bit about logistics. I don't know how familiar you might be or not with our workshops, but we can tailor them slightly. We can make them more challenging. We can make them a little more easy or simple. We can spend more time on certain exercises. But in this case, what we're really focused on is security and some app dev or cloud type stuff in this workshop. There's a little bit of IT in it. So on the left side there, you can see things like network monitoring. We've got a little bit of that. Cloud monitoring is definitely in this. So we kind of tie in several of the key use cases here for Splunk in general. And like Elizabeth said, if you have something generating data or logs or traffic, we should be able to analyze that within Splunk. We should be able to look at it, to take structured and unstructured data, to pull intelligence or outliers out of that data. It's sort of the needle in the haystack, right? And a lot of these applications that are pre-written or written by SMEs in the industry, whether it's a manufacturer, an individual, or apps, free apps, I should add, written by Splunk, it's designed to take a look at that data and tell you things that are probably important to pay attention to. If there's a brute force attack and somebody's pounding thousands of passwords at a host, trying to crack authentication, those are the kind of things that you'll want to pay attention to. And I'll give you one real world example. It's not a university, although some schools are using this for fraud detection, but a lot of state agencies, with when the pandemic hit, they were looking at unemployment claims that were not legitimate, that were coming in. And to give you a real example of things that are happening, the Splunk is able to detect. It's really simple in some ways, right? But Splunk kind of gives you something that's looking at your network, your app, your application stack, your security tools and infrastructure. And during the pandemic, one of the things that's been a huge benefit to states is they're using Splunk to look for unemployment claims that are coming in with two red flags. Let's say if Tom in Springfield, Missouri is putting in an unemployment claim to the state of Missouri, that's fine. But if they see 12 unemployment claims coming from that same IP address, then Splunk will flag that and say, hey, this looks unusual. It's a single IP address, and yet 12 different people, 12 different humans or social security numbers were pumped in here to try to claim unemployment benefits. So that's one red flag that Splunk can detect from taking all that data across IT, security, and that application stack. And the other red flag would be, we're in Iowa or we're in Missouri and unemployment claims are coming in from Brazil or, France, whatever. So that kind of gives you an idea of the real world capabilities of Splunk. As long as something's generating data or traffic, we should be able to see it. As long as you're feeding it to Splunk, you should be able to pull intelligence out of it. So that was kind of a long way to say, I have a question, and Colin, feel free to add any thoughts here too, but we're going to be focused on security. We're going to be focused on things in the cloud, a little bit on the network. So that would be things like Azure and Active Directory and Office 365 for this workshop. But is there anything that this group particularly would like to spend time on? In other words, Colin and I can, if we're able, I can't guarantee 100%, but if we're able to spend more time in one of those stacks and less in others. Any feedback on what you'd like to see, and then we'll talk logistics after that. Any questions on, or any feedback on what you're more interested in or less interested in from the things on the slide here?
If no one else has any preferences, I've been trying to sort of do a crash course in like Azure and Active Directory, like you mentioned. But
Yep.
everyone else should chime in too if they have thoughts.
I enjoy the forensics aspect of a lot of this, just trying to dig through and figuring out what actually is happening in the network.
Okay. So network / forensics, Active Directory, Azure. I think we've got you covered on that then. Anything else from the team? Or are we good? Just kind of, because again, we want to make this, I don't know if relevant's the right word, but interesting to you, right? We want to make this something that you're interested in digging deeper in. It may not be relevant to what you're doing day in and day out, right? You're not necessarily sitting in the SOC for a large corporation at the moment, but you might be someday soon, right? So let us know. Colin, anything you want to add there?
No, not really. I think I'll probably, shed a little more light on like my experience with Splunk when Saturday comes.
Yep. Yeah, and that's a great point. So Colin and I will tag team the workshop, and let's talk a little bit about logistics. So we'll both share some real world experiences, things that we've done in our careers. And like I said, for you, we want to make it intriguing or interesting, and so we'll take your feedback. But the workshop itself, basically, bring your own laptop. I don't know if you got a desktop, but it's going to be bring your own desktop or laptop to the event. We're going to give you the URLs or the IPs, if you will, but the URLs to hit these servers, and you're going to have your own dedicated instance. So you don't, unless we get more people show up than we planned, you won't have to share an instance with anyone. So you'll be able to log in. We'll give you the credentials, user ID and password, and the data is already in the system, right? We're not going to be going through setting up, how do we install Splunk? How do we ingest data? We can certainly touch on that some, and we probably will in the workshop. But what we're going to do is show you how to use Splunk, and then we're going to put you on some hunting missions or some forensic or phishing activities where we're going to ask you, okay, here's Splunk, here's all the data sources or data types we're ingesting, and here's some questions we want to ask of that data. Can you go find the answer to these questions? So that's kind of the format and the flow. But again, you'll get that URL, user ID and password. You'll log into an environment that's already up and running in AWS up in the cloud. It's the latest versions of Splunk with a pretty rich data set, cross-section of network security and cloud traffic that's already been captured in that stack. If you guys have any issues or problems and you get stuck with anything, obviously Colin and I will be there to help answer those, but we will be lecturing some, speaking some, and then we'll get out of the way and let you work on some of those exercises. And rest assured, if you're working on those exercises and somebody gets it, great. If somebody's stuck and says, hey, I'm lost, we can chat with you one-on-one on the side, but ultimately we'll come back and show you how to use Splunk to answer those questions. So again, rest assured that any of those questions we ask you and say, hey, how would you leverage Splunk to investigate this or answer this question? What is the most frequently logged in application on the network, or where are the most failed logins occurring, either by the user ID, the IP address, or the host, etc. We'll ask you those questions, and then we'll show you explicitly step-by-step how to do it. So as you go through that workshop, your skill set should start to ramp up. Again, if you've never touched Splunk, by the time you get to the end of it, I think you'll be pretty comfortable with the interface, how to look things, and start building some of your own queries and start building some of your own logic into the searches. But yeah, you don't really need to prepare Just make sure you've got something to access the internet with. Again, laptop, desktop, whatever you need to hit these cloud servers. The only logistic problem we've ever seen, or that I've seen, and Colin can add if he's got some other thoughts, but we did something, we did a workshop, oh gosh, a week or two ago, it wasn't long ago, a week or two back, and a couple of the people were from a bank, a financial institution, and they were blocked from hitting our AWS region. So for those 2 or 3 individuals, we had to find some alternatives and try to get them help after the workshop. So that would be the only thing I would throw out there, unless there's some reason that Iowa State, whether you're on or off the network, on the campus network, or working from home, or the dorms or the apartment, that would be my only thing is, be prepared if there's any sort of firewall or proxy or something that may block that traffic. But other than that, we really don't have any, trouble with people accessing these workshops, working through the exercises. And last comment, I know I've been talking a long time, haven't taken too many breaths here. We'll give you the PowerPoint, and we'll give you some of the kind of a cheat sheet that's a leave behind document that shows you the keystrokes, if you will, or the step-by-step instructions for how to duplicate this on your own. And we will leave it up until Sunday sometime. So you'll be able to, after this workshop, if you say, hey, I want to go back and revisit something, I'm not sure if you want to do it Saturday night or on a Sunday, but just rest assured that once that workshop wraps up, you'll still have perhaps another 24 hours to play around on the system and explore things that you want to. So I'll pause there for the team. Any questions on that? Did that make sense, or anything that we can clarify for you?
You see the question? Not a question, chat. A quick question. So if we're doing it on WebEx, will you be like sending a link then?
Yes. Yeah. We'll send that in advance.
Okay. When do you think that'll come out? Just so I can make sure I can get it out to everyone.
Probably on Friday we'll send that. We'll give you advance notice. And I mean, technically you could log into the servers and play around if you wanted to. But I would encourage you to, test your connectivity on Friday, but then be prepared to go through the exercises on Saturday. Did that help?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right, Colin or Elizabeth, anything you want to add? Anything I forgot?
No, I think you summed it up pretty well. So I'm good.
Yeah, it's fun. And you know what? I don't want to say you can't break something. You probably could, but this is a chance for you to bang on the keyboard, explore, do some fun, creative stuff, kind of get an idea. This is a very, very powerful tool. I've been in the industry a long time, and I'd say it's the most amazing technology I've worked with. It really brings the organization together. It's not just something that IT can use. It's something that the whole organization can use. Although with that being said, it is a very technical solution. There's some deep technical chops behind the scenes and data science and algorithms and machine learning that goes into helping Splunk be as effective as it is. But let's have some fun with it. Like I said, bang around, experiment, do some things you want. We'll give you structure. We'll give you some exercises. We'll give you the answers, and we'll give you some stretch things to try to, see if we can get you thinking a little differently on how to solve data or data analytics challenges. But yeah, it should be fun. And we'll get to the stuff on Friday, and then Saturday, just to confirm, 1 o'clock Saturday. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
And this is Elizabeth. Nicholas, do you want to use this same WebEx?
Oh yeah, I can send out. This one's scheduled for Tuesday. I should be able to send out a link for that too if you want to do that.
Perfect. And is there anyone else not on this call that'll be joining us, Nicholas? So you think there's going to be more than a rough number of folks?
There's a chance that I could imagine like at most 3 people joining, but I wouldn't be surprised if some people on the call right now don't show up. I hope everyone does. But I expect if I ask if everyone's going to show up, I'm just going to get a bunch of crickets with maybe like 3 or 4 people saying yep.
And one thing I'll add is please do come with any questions you have about joining the IT workforce, especially security. David and Colin, they have years of experience in the industry, working for large organizations in their internal IT functions. So if that's something you want to pursue after college, again, I just encourage you to bring any questions you have from a career perspective.
Yep, we will definitely share some war stories. What's appropriate anyway, we'll share with you. But happy to. Let's have some fun. And I will say this: if when you're done, if there's something that we missed, if you said, "Hey, I'd really like to focus on this item or that technology," or you name it, we can do some follow up. So let's have fun this weekend. But bear in mind, if there's something that you want to revisit later, we're happy to help spin up some other servers, show you some of the other workshops, and visit some other topics, if you will. So again, it's hard to boil the ocean and do everything in a workshop. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff. And if we miss anything that you're interested in, just follow up offline afterwards. And we'll either do it again through this forum or we can do it one-on-one and give you some resources to do some additional learning and hands-on.
Is there an email address I should show in our, or put into our group chat and whatnot for them to contact you at?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put mine in there or Elizabeth, any of us are fine, but mine's my full name. It's David Moore. No dots or dashes or anything, just David Moore, Moore, and it's at Splunk.com. When they hired me, they already had another David Moore here, and he was D Moore too, or excuse me, D Moore at Splunk. And so they, for whatever reason, they decided to spell out my full name. So I'm David Moore, and I think Colin's posted his in the chat as well.
Yeah, Ms. Elizabeth, I threw mine in the chat as well. Also, there's one question for folks. Are most people on camp or around campus living off campus, or are most people just at home? Because I asked, because I am trying to get a few free t-shirts for everyone that joins the workshop as added incentive to join us on Saturday. So Nicholas, I can kind of coordinate with you offline to maybe get people's addresses if they're not around campus.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I'm personally not on campus, but blocks away from campus. I imagine that's some people, but I doubt it's everyone. I know some people have had to live at home because why pay for apartments? So yeah, we can coordinate that later.
Perfect. All right. Well, let us know if anything comes up between now and Saturday. We're excited to meet with you all, and hope you have a good rest of the week.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Can't wait to get to the workshop.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for joining.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Yep. Take care.
Okay. So